Hey there, everyone. Tonight we saw Mortal Kombat 2020. Connor, what is the plot of Mortal Kombat
2021.
2021? Same shit.
Mortal Kombat stars all the usual suspects. Raiden and fucking Shao Kahn are two gods that are on opposite sides of a tournament between the outer realm and the human realm. And they fight. And a bunch of boring shit happens in the middle. So Aiden, what did you think of the damn movie?
Well, everything that's not the fights is really fucking boring.
Cringe and poorly bad acting.
There's a lot of horrible acting, especially from some of the people, like Sonya.
Kano was the worst to me.
You know
Kano's
what?
just like, oh, fish on the bobby. I want to clap them cheeks, baby.
Kano felt like an authentic Australian, because Australians are...
Yeah, I know, and
just
Australians
how they are.
fucking annoying. So I didn't like
It was
them.
very authentic, though. Yeah, they, for some reason, the main character of this movie is some weird OC they made for this movie, which I think was a horrible mistake. He's fucking horrible as a character. I don't remember his name, like Corey or Rick or something.
It's like, yeah, I think it's Corey.
And he's...
The great-grandson of Scorpion.
They made him, making him related to Scorpion was a horrible fucking idea. Especially because it just, like, intrinsically ties Scorpion to the good side. And this is a problem with, like, modern Mortal Kombat in general, but there's way too much Scorpion and Sub-Zero fuckery because they're the most popular characters. And so just, like, tying everything back to Scorpion is just, like, the worst shit ever. It's so fucking obnoxious to have Scorpion and Sub-Zero all over the place.
They literally kind of just used it as an excuse to write Scorpion into this modern story.
Yes, that's exactly what they did.
Because they wanted to have that final epic fight. If you just had a final epic fight between two random ass characters, the normal characters that fans would know, but like no fucking rando off the street wants to see the goddamn movie where fucking Jax fights fucking...
They want to see Scorpion and fucking Sub-Zero, but...
It's fucking right.
It's a problem with Mortal Kombat, modern Mortal Kombat in general, where like these two characters who are just like isolated and just had their own thing going on are just like the focus of everything, and they're always in the fucking center frame, and they did that again, even worse with this weird OC character. The fight's generally pretty good. I thought the opening to the movie was really strong, where it showed Scorpion and Sub-Zero's first battle. And then it gets excessively more retarded as it goes. Any scene where a character talks is fucking terrible.
It's really fucking boring. After like, there's like that really
the
cool fight
horrible.
between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, like in the past, and fucking Sub-Zero fights. Or Scorpion fights all Sub-Zero's lackeys and shit. It's pretty cool.
There's a lot of...
And then the next fucking 45 minutes of movie of this... basically 45 minutes.
People bullshitting around and walking in the desert. There's a lot of walking in the desert.
They walk around some fucking trailer park home, which is where like half this movie takes place.
Yeah, the CGI characters like Goro all look terrible.
Right.
The wing girl, don't know her name. There was some really weird character picks. I know this is a little autism, but like all the villains were just a bunch of nobodies plus Melina and Goro. Melina and Goro are dead. Melina's pretty crucial to things that happen, so I don't know what they're gonna do for the next 4 movies that the actor's already signed into without Melina. Like she's pretty central character to the story.
Goro, I think, is getting revived because like Goro and fucking Sub-Zero got turned into shadow people.
Yeah, maybe
like I assume. I don't know. I thought that would be like so Sub-Zero could become like Noob Saibot or something.
Yeah, with Sub-Zero makes sense because Sub-Zero becomes Noob. And there's a second Sub-Zero, but that's all like...
I guess they'll probably just make like a zombie Goro. They're not afraid to just make shit up for the movie.
Melina
Which
is
makes sense,
Shao
'cause
Kahn's daughter and like very central to things that happen later. And I know they're going in their own direction with this shitty OC character and his family. And this main character guy,
he's a superhero.
they don't set him up at all. So like at first I had no idea what was going on because he's like with this white woman and white child and he's like kissing them both on the lips. I had no fucking clue what was going on, and it's not until like 40 minutes in that they explain that it's his family. But he looks like 25 and his daughter's like 15.
Yeah, his daughter's like 15, and then he's
So-
like, I don't know. He kind of just talked. I thought he was like the stepdad or something, or like it was supposed to be his like
I thought
his
it was
little
like
sister or like maybe
her
his
sister. I don't know.
sister. Yeah, I couldn't really tell.
I had
what
no
was going
fucking
on.
clue what was going on.
I don't
Also,
think the
I'm pretty
writers
sure-
knew for the first half hour of the movie because I didn't know
I'm pretty sure that
till well into
fucking
the movie.
Shang Tsung, who I guess is the main villain of this movie, even though he just talks and then teleports away. They don't say his name until like an hour and a half into this movie, I don't think. Because they only mention it once when they're in like the weird foggy world, and I think that's the only time his name is ever said.
I think he said something about it while you were taking a shit or something.
If you
there
stumble
was
in,
a point where Raiden was just blabbing on exposition for like 10 straight fucking minutes to all the characters.
if you stumble into this movie without knowing anything about the games, you are just going to be horribly lost because no one is introduced well. They introduce like 1,500 characters in the span of like 15 minutes, and they're like,
Right.
okay, well, this is everyone.
Well, I have a very
And-
basic knowledge of the game, and I had a very basic understanding of the movie.
And then you got this OC guy running around, and he gets like super armor and can grow swords out of his arms, and it's just like a fucking headache. But
See, I really didn't. What were you gonna say?
yeah, so basically what it all boils down to is all the acting is terrible, all the characters are terrible, most of the special effects are terrible, the story is terrible.
Okay, I won't dock them
and-
too much on the special effects because this isn't like the Zack Snyder DC movies where they're like fucking
Dump
third of
$7
$1
billion
million.
into it, yeah.
This is a $50 million movie, so considering it had the same budget as like fucking Deadpool, the effects were pretty good. Considering how much
Yeah.
there was too.
I mean,
But it also
yeah.
felt like they front loaded all of the fucking. They would be like, "This is a fight. Now we got to put all the fucking budget here," and then that led to like all these really boring fucking locations where they would talk, like
Yeah.
talk at the trailer park, talk at the fucking
Uh,
CGI
yeah.
place.
So the fights are good generally. There's some really annoying fourth wall breaks. Like 15 times they have characters say like fatality and Kano wins.
I think that was just the two the 2 monk people, the fucking
No, because
hat guy.
Kano kills Reptile and says Kano wins.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I forgot Kano did that.
Kung
once.
Lao, who for whatever reason they kill Kung Lao in this movie, which is like excessively early to kill him considering how important he is
You
too.
had to have someone fucking die.
I guess.
And
But
I think they
Kung
were.
Lao says
They thought that Jackson.
perfect victory or something, like these horrible lines ripped straight from the game that in the context of the movie are just like incredibly fucking
Cringe.
awkward. and
There were a
cringe.
couple times there was a couple points where I muttered under my breath. I couldn't help it but say cringe, and it was mostly Kano and like when they would try to like throw in very obvious references where we played the Mortal
There's
Kombat
like
game
this other
once in
weird
the
thing
90s.
that they do where all the characters have to unlock their superpowers, and for some reason they have like cyber monks give Jax new robot arms, but they're just like 2 sticks with balls on the end, and they're like, okay, you gotta awaken your cyber arms, and they turn into real cyber arms. Like, there's a lot of fucking just asinine crap going on.
Then you have Sonya, who fucking Sonya. Like everyone else has to unlock their powers, and then Sonya goes off and kills Kano.
And then she
And
just
gets
comes
her
back
fucking
with her
Mortal
powers,
Kombat
yeah.
thing, and then she cuts back into frame. How did she get there? Did Raiden teleport her off screen? I don't know.
Also,
Because Raiden wasn't really there later, because that's when he gets fucking. Because that, like, shortly after this is when he gets sucked in with fucking. He teleports away with Sub-Zero,
Yeah.
who's teleporting.
the other
because-
thing, the main character OC guy is like a amateur MMA guy, I think, or something. He fights at some like
UFC
fucking
or some shit.
UFC MMA thing in like a warehouse. And for some reason, when he fights Sub-Zero at the end, Sub-Zero takes him back to this MMA thing. But I don't know how Sub-Zero would know that this place had significance for him.
Maybe he found the... I don't know.
And then
why
so
does
the
he
whole
care to
climax,
have the significance?
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't pick somewhere anywhere else.
He could have just fought him at the family home, really.
He could have fought him. He could have teleported him to some fucking
It absolutely did
weird
not
ice
matter where they
dimension.
fought.
Yeah, so like why does it go back to
you
this
know what I
MMA
was
ring for the
thinking?
climax?
You remember right at the start, his daughter says something like, you gotta, if you controlled the ring, you would have won the battle or something. So I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna have to control the ring or something, and then he's gonna get the best of Sub-Zero. I see what they're doing here, a little bit of classic foreshadowing. But no, that they literally set it up like a lot of this movie felt written like just so fucking weird. Because, like, that was, like a cliched, like, it's foreshadowing setup. And then it just never came back because Scorpion just comes in and whips Sub-Zero's ass.
Well, there is the really bad setup where she says, you should have uppercutted him, and then he uppercuts Goro. It's really awful, awkward setup where his daughter has, like, an 80-yard
really
line when he's fighting Goro.
It was... Uppercut him! It's not foreshadowing. That's just like it was like a joke thing. And there's a lot of really bad ADR in this movie. Like half of focus groups say that Kano's 17 million jokes weren't enough, so we got to put more in.
Yeah,
it'll be like a moment where he'll be like looking at a picture or something. And he'll be like, "So these are Mortal Kombat's past," and he'll be like, "Oh, this reminds me of the Outback Steakhouse, brother." And then he'll like hop on and be like, "I used to hunt for fucking skunks in the farm."
I mean, really, Kano was probably the most authentic depiction of an Australian ever put to film, besides the fact that he didn't throw in tons of racial slurs.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, the fights are good. The rest of it is suck. So, Connor, what did you think of Mortal Kombat?
I mean, kind of like you, the fights were good, but everything else sucked. The writing was poor, as I've said. Almost all the dialogue was bad. Almost all the characters are fucking undercooked, and they keep introducing characters. Considering they made an OC for this movie, I don't really have a problem with making an OC character for the movie, to be honest, because it's like, okay. I mean, I guess really not as much anymore, but they used to make like a fucking 6 new characters every game. Why not just make some new asshole fucking, he's related to Scorpion, but he also is basically just as a superhero in his superhero clothes and his superhero powers, his superhero knife.
The OC
and they
shit
all have to learn their goddamn superhero powers, and it's fucking like the Avengers, but like with more blood. Okay, I
the
get what
OC shit wouldn't
for.
have been nearly as bad if he wasn't related to Scorpion. That's what makes it feels like fan fiction, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm Harry Potter's girlfriend.
But Warner Brothers doesn't give a shit. They have the rights to it. They'll say fucking whip
can
up
do
to
whatever they
whatever.
want.
So
They
then
own it.
whoever wrote it was just like, I'm going to make a fucking OC character who's going to be Scorpion's nephew. They probably said, like, well, can we do like a Sub-Zero Scorpion thing? And they're like, yeah, we could, but you guys want to set it in like modern times, Avengers bullshit. And like we're gonna.
It was a superhero movie, wasn't it?
It was Avengers, but rated R and with a cheaper budget. Yeah. That's what they were going for. It's like some Avengers, which is fine. I mean, that's what it ended up being. They all had to like find their powers. None of them have character at all, except for fucking Corey or whatever the fuck his name is, Christopher, Kate. I don't know.
Scorpion
and his girlfriend. Not really, because all he does is like he has like fucking. He just grows a Marvel superhero suit, and that's his powers.
Yeah.
He grows a Marvel superhero suit. None of that really would bother me that much if they actually bothered to establish the character, but I'm sitting here thinking, like, who the fuck is this Mortal Kombat character, and why don't I recognize him? Then at the same time, look, I've played Mortal Kombat, I have a basic understanding of the lore. So I had enough to understand, like, okay, that's Sonya, that's Goro, etc. I was pissed off still they didn't put Chun-Li in the movie. But, yeah, I had, I understood who the characters were. I was like, okay, I see what they're going for. They're gonna fight. It'll be kind of an Avengers thing. But the dialogue was so bad. They wanted Kano to be kind of the quippy, like, Marvel fucking Robert Downey Jr. type character. Not even really, but just like the quip and Marvel guy. He will kind of like be the levity, the comic relief. The problem is they never let him shut the fuck up. And as we alluded to, they even added in like at least 5 or 6 ADR lines that I noticed where he just did more comic relief.
There's a lot of bad
and it's
ADR
like,
in this movie.
My guy, come on. Who wrote this shit? I guess somebody wrote it after. Like, it feels like fucking Warner Brothers and HBO or whoever the fuck were like, we need more fucking amp up the goddamn, amp up the swearing and jokes. That's what they did. So, yeah, the CGI, I mean, there were some shit-ass effects in here, but honestly, most of the effects were on par or superior to Zack Snyder's series of films, which, considering those have fucking 5 to 6 times the budget of this movie, I can't knock the effects that much. The fight scenes and action choreography were very cool. Like that first fight with Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah, that one was really, really good.
That shit was pretty badass. And honestly, like, even like that final one at the UFC ring was kind of cool. I thought the fight montage thing at the end where they're kind of like fighting all the characters, it kind of just seemed like a convenient way to like bring the plot to the end. It was really fast and those fights were pretty stupid. I mean, they're like, you gotta fight these 12 characters or whatever the fuck amount. And they're like, you're right, this is gonna be in trouble. And then Raiden's like, I'll just teleport you guys in there and you guys fight them one-on-one. And they're like, yeah, thanks, Raiden. You're a good guy.
Yeah, and then at the end, Shang Tsung shows up, and Shang Tsung is like, you guys are fucking assholes, and I hate you. And then Raiden teleports him away, and the movie cuts to credits like 4 seconds later.
See, I think Razor Hat Guy's death would have been better if he actually, like, was killed, like, during, like, that fight montage. Or maybe it would have just been better if you're gonna just be ripping off Avengers anyways. And maybe it was just harder to keep like the same choreography level on such a low budget with the everything considered. So they separated the fights. Maybe they thought it'd be more satisfying, but I think instead of like teleporting them to random undisclosed like fiery hellscapes, just have them like meet in an arena and then just kind of cut around. So there's like fighting in the background. We can get like a sense of space instead of Raiden teleports Jax to fucking
some weird
bridge,
fighting
Lord
game
of the Ring
level bridge thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Lord of the Rings fucking like background and scene concept art, Lord of the Rings concept art they had left over at Warner Brothers that they rendered up a lot cheaper than making a set and all that shit. They're like, oh, actually, we have this CGI model for this bridge that we created for Hobbit, but the scene didn't really stay in. And they're like, yeah, we'll just have Jax kill a guy on there. That was basically how that felt.
Yep. At least they didn't shy away from the gore.
No, I liked the gore.
There's a lot of blood. People getting their heads chopped off. And
the sound design was really
pieces.
good, too. I mean, not the ADR, but the sound design.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in terms of, like, gaffing and stuff to get the fucking cool sound effects, because like the blood always sounded very visceral. You know, there were the costumes were all pretty cool too. I mean, there were aspects I liked. I think the biggest issue is just you need a lot of knowledge of Mortal Kombat to get into the film. Like, you got to start researching on Wikipedia a little bit if you want to get a lot out of this film, or just if you've already played the games, you're probably fine. But like, if you're gonna go the route of creating an OC, then maybe kind of put less time on the other characters and establish like the OC and his family more. Or just say fuck that, don't create an OC, just bring fucking Scorpion in, because that's what they wanted to do, and then have Scorpion and his friends beat up the evil Sub-Zero and his pals. Because that's what they wanted to do, and they just said, we have to, like, come up with some emotional resonance. But the emotional resonance falls so flat. So I guess my final say on this is, it's a terrible movie with cool fight scenes. So Aiden, would you recommend Mortal Kombat?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have a good justification for that, but yeah, I guess. Would you?
Okay. No, like we always go in with like the clauses. Here is my recommendation. This movie is in theaters starting in 2 days. It's also going to be on HBO Max. Now what I would recommend you do is skip it and watch all the fight scenes.
On YouTube?
On HBO Max.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's on HBO Max,
Right.
you know? So you watch
you
that
just
first
skim.
scene, and then Corey or whatever his name is comes out, and there's like scenes, like
Any
just
scene
emotional
where people
scenes
aren't
that fall.
fighting, you can just
If
fast
they're
forward.
if the
That's a
people
good
are
idea.
just talking, it's not gonna be exciting. It's
Yeah,
gonna be filmed worse than a fucking porno.
I changed
There's
my
no
vote.
fucking
Just
resonance.
skim through
Just
for the
skim
fight
through.
scenes.
Yeah, I was gonna say just skim through HBO Max. And if you're watching this video past the time this movie's like new and shit, there's probably
applies.
gonna be a point where you won't have to go on HBO Max. You can just look up the clips on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
But
I changed my vote to that. Do that instead.
Because the movie's shit. It has good fight scenes. That's it.
Yeah.
It's probably still one of the top 10 video game movies. Watch Mojo better update their
It's
list.
probably like top 3. Doesn't have a lot of competition.
Yeah, I mean, when Sonic is like seriously contender for best superhero movie or fucking video game movie.
Yeah, it's pretty much those 2 fucking Mickey movies and then fucking Sonic.
Yeah, okay, it's not a movie unless it's a fucking American. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, but the Ace Attorney movie's sick.
Who cares if it's sick if it's not a fucking American presentation where I don't gotta read no goddamn subtitles?